Hey everybody, Jaquel Wimbush here, your host of Back to the Basics of Health and Wellness Podcast. I want to give a big shout out to Ohio. Ohio, thank you for all the listeners in Ohio. I appreciate you guys a great much. You guys are consistently being there for me and listening to the podcast on a weekly basis. You guys have my numbers going up. I appreciate you all out in Ohio. Thank you. And also thank you to New Jersey, to New York, to Connecticut, to LA, to Austin, Texas. I appreciate you all for listening in. Today we're going to talk about ADD, ADHD, and getting back to school. Let's get into it. Be thankful for what you have. You'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough. Oprah Winfrey.
Daddy, it's time to start your podcast.
Hey, Corrine, how are you today? Welcome back.
I am good, Jaquel. How are you?
I am tired, but I'm making it happen because I think we talked about that before. Everybody say, "Oh, I'm good, I'm just good," but we be tired.
Yeah, listen, and it's the end of the week. You're just trying to make it to the weekend.
Absolutely. So sometimes we just gotta keep it real. We tired sometimes. We frustrated sometimes. We human. So every time we ask that question, it can't, for everybody, it can't be, oh, it's all good. I'm maintaining. Yep. So today, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, definitely some days are better than others.
Absolutely. For everybody. I like Mondays, though. Monday is a good day for me. Starting off the week on a positive note. Even though, I don't have a structured weekend for like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. My weekend is Tuesday and Wednesday. Those are my days off from work. So, I don't have the structured or the American weekend. I have Tuesday and Wednesday, which is good for me because everybody is at work and I get to do stuff.
Yeah, my self-care is I made myself a 3-day weekend every weekend because mentally I needed it. So absolutely. I made it happen.
Beautiful. We all need it, and people should really look into that and focus on, taking time out for themselves because, these corporate entities and structures and things like that, man, they'll drive you there. I don't want to say the word crazy, but they'll drive you there.
They will definitely drive you to some mental health conditions.
Absolutely. All right, so today we're going to talk on ADHD because, kids are out of school, but they will be returning soon. And
yes, they will.
And we want to talk about that ADHD and, what is ADHD and a couple of questions I have for you. So, to the listeners, make sure you have a pen and paper ready because we are about to jump into it right now. So first question is, what is ADHD?
So ADHD is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It's basically a behavior disorder and it's usually diagnosed in childhood, usually around the age of 7. And it's characterized by inattention, impulsivity, and in some cases hyperactivity. And all of them can either occur together, they can occur separately, but there's different types of ADHD. The most common type is the combined type. Mm-hmm. So that's characterized by impulsive and hyperactive behaviors as well as inattention and distractibility. So all of those, and I think sometimes people think, oh, this kid has ADHD. No, just because a child has those symptoms doesn't mean that they necessarily have ADHD.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I hear a lot of people say, oh, my son's school said, or my daughter's school said, but it wasn't a psychologist who said, it wasn't a professional who said, it was just the school, the
Right.
teachers, and things like that. So I hear that a lot. Who does a parent need to talk to really, really find out if the child has ADD or ADHD?
So a parent could take their child to their pediatrician.
Hmm.
They could go to a child psychiatrist or any qualified mental health professional that can identify ADHD in a child. I think a lot of times in school, teachers just see kids being easily distracted, having difficulty waiting their turn, talking excessively, fidgeting, and they're like, oh, this child has ADHD. Those are symptoms of ADHD, excuse me, but that doesn't mean that the child necessarily has ADHD.
Yeah, yep. Because kids are kids, and in
Mm-hmm.
today's world, it's like everybody is rushing children to be adults, and I'm like, slow
Mm-hmm.
it down. Like,
Mm-hmm.
our parents had to slow it down for us, but it's like this generation, it's like a rush for some reason for a child to become an adult and to do adult like things, and I'm like, just slow it down. The child is 9 years old. They don't, they're still learning. Let them
Mm-hmm.
develop, and we're having a problem when they're not letting them develop at a good rate. It's just hurry up, or you know, with schools too. Be quiet, stop
Mm-hmm.
moving. It's a child. What do you expect for them to do? They're gonna
Mm-hmm.
move. So
Yeah.
so I guess getting back to that, to go see a professional. If a school said that to an adult, what should they do?
They can make an appointment with their pediatrician who may then refer them to a therapist or a child psychiatrist. But even when they go see this professional, the professional is doing an examination, but they're also taking information from the parent, they're taking information from the school, they're taking a detailed history of what has been going on from different people in order to make that determination.
Okay, cool. And I guess this question here is, what is the difference between ADD and ADHD? If you could just shed just some light on that one.
So ADD is kind of outdated. It's basically the same thing, the inattentive type of ADHD. It's in essence, it is the same thing. It's just that years ago it was ADD and now it's basically, ADHD. So there's really no difference. It's a ADD could be seen as one of the types of ADHD, but it's basically the same.
Okay, yeah. So
Like
that.
nowadays, I rarely hear people use ADD. I really hear more ADHD.
Okay. All right. And when you see a child with ADHD, are they like really, really hyperactive, or is it sometimes just a child being a child?
I think it depends on the child. I
Hmm.
think it depends on the child. I think it depends on what's going on in the home. Because I think sometimes some parents aren't quite sure how to deal with a child with ADHD or what to do. But it's definitely possible that, you'll see them talking excessively or, you might see a child who they're constantly in motion, but there's no goal. It's not like I'm running to that tree. It's just like, no, I'm just running because I need to be moving.
Okay.
They have difficulty waiting their turn. They may blurt out in school. They're easily distracted. They may have difficulty listening or really paying attention to details
Okay.
when given directions. So, like, those are typical symptoms. Their inability to stay on task,
Okay.
things like that.
So can you see this as being like trauma related or kind of food related at some points? Because I looked up some things, and for me, on a holistic standpoint of it, I can see food as being one of those things that can make a child hyper.
Mm-hmm.
Excess of sugary drinks that are, provided in schools, carbs that are given out for lunch, snack time, and
Mm-hmm.
things like that and in the home as well. A lot of parents are not grocery shopping the way that they should be. They're
Mm-hmm.
grocery shopping to please the child, not to get them on a healthier path.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you see food can be attributed to that?
Well, any of the things that I've seen has shown that the precise cause of the disorder is unknown. There is some evidence that suggests that it is genetic. Like sometimes you'll see siblings and they both have ADHD in the family. You'll have like a parent who had it and their children are more susceptible to it because of the genetic factor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but usually, the research that I've seen has been more genetic.
Okay. So, all right. So you said the child, the siblings, and the parent. What about the
Mm-hmm.
grandparent? Have you ever seen a grandparent having ADHD, or did it not start there?
I think, even dating myself, thinking back to my childhood, I can remember one classmate who I think might have been diagnosed or not. Like, I know he was on medication, but like, other than that, it really wasn't that prevalent back then.
Mm,
So I think if a grandparent did have it, I don't even think it would have, it, I don't even think it was even noticed.
okay. Or it was
I feel
named.
like it's right. Like, I feel like it's become more prevalent, more mainstream recently with this generation.
Okay.
But like, even going back 20 years, like, it really, sure, it existed, but it wasn't as mainstream as it is right now. It wasn't as excessive as it is right now.
Okay. So why do you think it's so mainstream now versus before?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't answer that for you, but I do notice that now, like, when you look in schools, you see teachers and administrations trying to accommodate kids who have ADHD
Okay.
or even any mental disorder. Like, a lot of schools now, they have, I don't want to really call them quiet rooms, but they have rooms where kids can go and there's like a kind of like a quiet corner. I've seen a bunch of classrooms that have like the quiet corner where there's things that they can use that are tactile. There's a book if they want to sit down. There's,
Mm,
like a soothing box where in the box there may be clay, there may be kinetic sand, things that a child can use to kind of ground themselves
okay. Like a calm
before they
corner.
get, yeah, before they go back to the task at hand.
Okay. Yeah, because I did even with my son's school, I reached out to them to see if I can do like some breath work with the kids via like Zoom or
Mm-hmm.
something like that, because I
Mm.
know that the teachers they go through a lot, and it's like when you reach out to schools and you say you want to bring some new ideas, and it's like, especially my son, he goes to a Catholic school, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we'll reach back out to you, or we'll talk to you about that. But at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, you guys are complaining about the kids being very active and talkative. But when
Mm-hmm.
someone says, hey, let's have a breathwork moment, and it's like, well, we'll get back to you on that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why? Like, like if a parent is bringing something new and an idea to you, like, why not just bring it in for a second, or vet the parent and see what the parent is about and say, yeah, okay, maybe we should try this and see where it goes and go from there
Mm.
instead of just
Right.
shutting
And
it
there
down.
are Right. And there are no supplies needed. We're just breathing.
We're just breathing. We're just breathing. I'm not asking for no money, no nothing. I just see the teachers are
Right.
overworked, underpaid, and they need a break too. So can I give a teacher a break for just a breathing moment and not get to just take over the class for like 15 minutes? But
Yeah.
I'll try again this year and see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe some of this in the administration can come in as well. I think breath work is so important. Like it's such a powerful tool, and I think it's underutilized.
absolutely, absolutely, and that's why I even challenge some of my my clients. I challenge them to go do yoga. Just for the breath work and for the meditation alone and connecting the mind, body, spirit, having that connection, so they can push through and just say, you know what, I did that. I don't like it, or I do like it, or I'm going back, or I'm not going back. But just try it. I think everybody
Mm-hmm.
should just try something at least once. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How can someone find a doctor or a mental health professional with a child or an adult that has ADHD?
Like, you mean in order to get help?
Yes.
So they could either, they can contact their pediatrician. There's different websites that you can go to. Like, you can go to Psychology Today. I'm on Psychology Today. Therapy for Black Girls. There's different mental health websites that you can go to find a professional. But usually, like, a pediatrician might be able to help. Actually, you might even be able to call in New Jersey. Well, no, I don't think, mobile response, they wouldn't be able to help with that. That's more like crisis in the moment. But definitely talking to your pediatrician, they should be able to refer you to someone, or even calling your insurance company.
Absolutely.
And say, look, I'm looking for a mental health professional. Like, I need a psychiatrist. I need this. You can tell them what you want, and they should be able to send you a list.
Okay. Yeah, because at this time with COVID and I don't know where we're at with COVID, if it's spiking up again or we have the Delta variant. I don't even know where we're at right now with COVID. But during this time, I would say, a lot of psychologists are busy. So who do they go to? Just go to their doctor?
Yeah, you can go to your pediatrician, and sometimes pediatricians work with certain mental health professionals, or they may just know who to send you to. Sometimes some of the bigger groups of doctors' offices, like the Atlantic Health System, you should be able to find someone in there. But it all depends on your insurance coverage.
Okay. All right. So, okay. Yeah. So, guys, if you if your school or your child is showing some form of signs of some hyperactivity, make sure you go to the doctor, get the blood work drawn, see where your child is at, see if there are any deficiencies going on, speak to a psychologist. Don't just leave it unanswered or the stone unturned. Turn over that stone, turn over that rock, and make sure you get it done and figure it out. How is ADHD treated? I know even for myself, when I was diagnosed, when I was in school with ADD, they tried to put me on a Ritalin and things like that. Are they still doing that today? And like I said on the last episode that we talked on, how it made me feel. It wasn't a feel good moment. It just made me feel like a mute almost. Are they still prescribing those type of medications today, or where are we at?
Yes, they are. We did talk about this last time, and I am like, I understand medication. I do believe some people need medication. And with that being said, I do think that sometimes medication is overutilized when it comes to children. I do think sometimes kids just need to just be kids, and maybe let's try some behavior mod instead of giving them medication, and we're not sure what that's going to do to them later on in life. But yes, kids are still prescribed medication depending, on the doctor and the situation. But I think talk therapy, behavior mod.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say behavior mod, I mean like therapist, parent, and parent or guardian and teacher, we're all on the same page, and the kid knows we're all on the same page, and we're all working towards a common goal. We're all doing the same thing, enforcing the same thing, so that there's consistency.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's the road that I take. I've had success with clients with behavior mod without medication. So, I mean, I understand that sometimes medication is needed.
Okay.
And I also think sometimes medication is used before behavior mod.
Okay. Yes. So, don't even for parents, I would say just, if someone just automatically says, let's go straight to medication, I guess the first thing to say is, let's reel this back in. Let's start slow, what about
you bring up I don't want to interrupt you, but you bring up a really good point. I think sometimes parents think just because a medical professional says we need to put your child on medication, that they need to do it. You do not.
Yes.
You are the parent. You have the right to say, well, no, let's try something else, and then let's revisit this if what we're trying doesn't work.
Yes.
Like, I see parents feel pressured to just put kids on medication because the doctor said so, and you're the parent. You don't have to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I run into that a lot where as a wellness coach, where I'll say, let's change your eating habits, and then people are like, no, but then it's like if a doctor say, well, let's put you on medication, they be like, okay. I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm trying not to get you on medication and just to change your eating habits, but a doctor with a white coat says, let's put you on this, and you be like, okay. It's wild, like, because people are like overly medicated these days. It's like these doctors are giving out so much medication these days. It is unbelievable. And it's, I don't know. That's a whole nother discussion. Yeah. Just these doctors, man. It's like, where I understand you may be getting a kickback from it, but come on, like, you just can't just keep putting, and now, and it's ended up in our water supply. And then it's like, they were saying, what's the one? The depression medication. It's not Adderall. One of those depressant medications. They said it's so much in the water supply today that if you drink tap water, you're drinking that medication. Yeah. So if people want to look into that, just do the research on the water supply and what gets through in the water supply that gets into your shower water and your drinking water, and you'll be surprised how many medication or pharmaceuticals get past. It's crazy. But yeah, so any last words about ADHD and this upcoming school year from a psychologist yourself?
Well, I would say when it comes to parents and getting your child back to school, because of this last year and a half, there's going to be an adjustment, right? So I would say to come up with a game plan with your kids and include them in the process.
Yes.
So, like saying, okay, Corrine, you're going to be going back to school in September. I know you haven't gone to the physical school building in a while, so let's talk about our morning routine. What does our morning routine look like? So when you get up, what do you think needs to happen? You let Corrine answer. All right, Mom, I need to brush my teeth and do this and do that. Okay, sounds good. What about lunch? It's almost like you're including them in the process, so that if they do hit an obstacle, they're capable and they're used to coming up with a solution on their own, and there's less of a chance for them to get frustrated and get stuck. And really helping them figure out and get used to that day, the first day that school is going to start, really reestablishing bedtime and meal time, making sure that even though everything is structured, they still have recreation time. Even though it's recreation time, it's still structured. Your recreation time is from 1 to 2. You can have fun and do what you want, but this is the time frame that it's going to be. So I think really preparing them for what's going to happen. And if a parent truly feels like their child may have ADHD, talking to the school and having them evaluated to see if they do. A parent can request that a kid can have an evaluation.
Okay.
And if they do, and it's a case where a kid needs a plan, whether it's an individualized education plan or a 504 plan that'll help them have accommodations in the classroom, so be it.
Nice. Good words of wisdom. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Parents, kids, prepare. Now is the time. Yes, it's early, but early is better than late, and early is better than never. So make sure you start having these talks with your children, teenagers. If you're listening, prepare and plan. Plan out your day. Start your day with, today is going to be a great day, and then go from there. But always have a plan, and let's get out there and let's have a great school year. I know it's early, but I'm wishing you all a great, successful 2021 school year going back in.
Yes, good luck, kids.
Good luck. Yep, good luck, and all the best. Corrine, thank you very much again. I appreciate your time and you coming on the show and giving out your expertise on this ADHD. And I look forward to having you on soon again to talk about some more.
Thank you for having me, Jaquel. Always a pleasure.
You're welcome. Talk to you soon. Hey, everybody. I want to thank you all for joining me on today's episode of Back to the Basics of Health and Wellness Podcast with my guest, Corrine Rose Parrish. Just to clarify one thing, I did call Corrine. I said she was a psychologist, but she is actually a clinical social worker / therapist. So just wanted to clear that up. All right, guys. So until next time, enjoy, be well, and make a lifestyle change that lasts. Talk to you guys soon. Have a great one.